Hey guys, welcome back to the Ignite SAT Mastery course. Today, we'll be covering Lesson 3 of Module 4, Solving for X Linear Solutions. Now, just as a refresher, what do these linear solutions questions really look like? Now, they look something a little bit like these questions. Now, an identifying feature of these are their linear equations within. Now, linear equations involve singular x and singular y values without any powers to these values or any exponential, any rational functions, things that have one power and form lines on a graph. And an easy way to recognize them is usually if they only have one x and one y, or in this case on the right, two separate variables. Now, let's take a look at trying to solve one of these questions. Now, this question is a system of linear equations, and it's asking us to find an ordered pair that satisfies the system. Now, the way we're going to look at this is slightly different. So these kinds of questions can be solved in a variety of ways. There is substitution, there is cancellation. There are different methods to be able to solve these equations. Now, in this case, the easiest method to do would be substitution. As you can see, subtracting either x or y to the other side will result in an x equaling negative y or y equaling negative x. So let's try this. Let's have y equaling negative x. Now that we have y equaling negative x, all we need to do is plug this into the next equation. And once we do that, we're going to result with something like this. 3x minus 2 times negative x equals 10. And now that we have everything in one variable, this will become very easy to solve. We have 3x plus 2x equals 10. We keep on reducing and simplifying, and then we get 5x equals 10. And we finally have x equals 2. Now, let's look at these answer choices before we continue. For these answer choices, which questions or which answers have x equals 2 as the x value? Now, there's only one out of these answer choices, and that's answer choice B. Therefore, that has to be the correct answer. Now that we've gone over a linear solutions question, how about you guys try? All right, now that you've had a chance to look at this question, let's go over it. So we have an expression up top where L equals 24 plus 3.5 m. So let's see what this question is asking. The question is asking, what is m when L is 73? Now, this type of question is just asking for a direct substitution of values. So let's make sure we're substituting this 73 right to determine m. Let's input 73 into the equation. Once we have that, this equation becomes relatively easy to solve. We just need to subtract the 24 from each side, get our resulting expression, and divide over. And once we divide, we're going to get m equals 14. Alright, let's look at some tips when answering these questions. The first thing to do is check what kind of linear solutions question is it. Is it a system of linear equations, or is it just a singular linear equation with a substitution? Or even is it asking for points on a graph and asking to create a linear equation based on those points? The next thing we want to do is substitute. We either want to substitute these specific values in, substitute an equation or a variable in for another equation, just so we can reduce everything down to one variable. And once we do that, now the process of isolation starts, whether it's subtracting or dividing using reverse PEMDAS to isolate that variable by itself. And finally, we can solve, and we will get an answer that correlates to one of the answer choices given. Now, next time, we're going to be solving for x, but this time quadratic solutions.